pretty satisfied with that, I reckon.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's the old one, isn't it? That if you'd guaranteed us that before the game, we would have taken it and run. But we were really focused on the way we wanted to play. We knew that GWS were going to give us a fierce contest around the ball, and to their credit, I think they did that. It's just very difficult to sustain that effort. I've been on the receiving end of those sort of games where you just can't sustain the effort for long enough. But I thought our guys had a pretty uncompromising approach to the contest, and I was pleased with the result.
So do you think in the result as comprehensive as that, do you even think about the third quarter? Or, I mean, is it something you think is just part of football where it's hard to keep a side pinned down for that long? Or?
No. We made some mistakes in the third quarter, which we addressed at 3/4 time, and yeah, that was disappointing, that element of it. But I mean, you can't sit here after a 130 odd point win and pick holes in it.
What does it mean in terms of, I suppose you're Geelong next week? Do you come through that pretty much untouched? Is it still feel like full, proper sort of hit out?
Oh yeah, I mean, you can ask Lee here. It's still a game of AFL footy. I mean, the boys are still, pretty sore, and they feel like they've played a, genuinely competitive game of AFL football. So, and you could all see the attack Callum Ward's got on the ball, and you can see the running ability of Reece Palmer and Tom Scully, and obviously Jeremy Cameron's going to be a star of the future, probably not too distant future, the way he's running around at the moment. So, while the margin suggests otherwise, it's still a really competitive game of footy. So we feel like it's a good lead into Geelong.
Just some words on the weekend as a whole. I mean, you've obviously come down for the first time. I've got some new fans, big turnout.
Yeah.
So a pretty handsome profit compared to what you would have made in 12 games back in Melbourne.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's a fantastic initiative from the club. I've been really blown away by the support we've had down here, and it doesn't surprise me in terms of the support for AFL football, because I think the people of Hobart have been pretty fanatical AFL fans for a long time. But the way that it really felt like a home ground to us today, the amount of North Melbourne supporters that came out, and it just had a real blue and white feel to it today, and that really started the minute we got off the plane yesterday. So I think this is just going to go from strength to strength. There was a pretty special atmosphere out in the ground today during the game. All the supporters stuck around to see the players after the game, so I think it's something we can really build on. I think it's a perfect start for us.
Has the football department been happy with facilities and surface and ground and everything like that?
Oh, they're perfect. Yeah, I mean the outfield, there's still a cricket wicket in the middle, which I think the curators did a great job of getting that as ready as they possibly could, given there was a cricket game here not too long ago. But the surface elsewhere is as good as any ground you'll find in Australia. So I think it was a pretty high standard game of footy for the most part, and the surface enabled us to do that.
What was it that pleased you most about the way the boys went about it today?
Oh, I think we had to adapt to some different tactics from GWS. I mean, you look at their coaching staff; they've got some pretty sharp and shrewd minds in there. So they changed things around quite a bit, and so I was really pleased at the way we were able to adapt to those different tactics and change our game style slightly given the circumstances. So that was pleasing. A really even contribution from all, I thought.
Can you really hang something on this win, or is this a bit of an aberration going into the rest of the season?
No, I mean, every game of AFL footy is going to be tough. I mean, as I said, regardless of the final result, I mean, it's just a build-up of contest after contest. And I thought that the challenge for GWS is going to be to be able to bring that hard, consistent effort from each contest and carry it out over 4 quarters. That's going to be no surprise to them. But for us, it was just a matter of breaking the game down into contest by contest, and the result would take care of itself, which it did. But the margin shouldn't suggest that it was just a walk in the park. I mean, we were going flat out.
Coach, I was just going to ask you, what was it like playing against a side that, a very young side, their second game? Probably haven't played a team with some skinny bodies like that for a while. What was your experience?
Yeah, it was still an AFL intensity game. They brought, some physicality to the game, and every single one of them came for the fight, and it was just about us making sure that we played our roles for the 4 quarters, and we thought if we could do that, we could eventually, break them down, and a few of those skinnier bodies we could get on top of late in the game. So apart from that third quarter, we played 3 really good quarters of that.
How are you feeling? I suppose you play forward. You've got a few of those big tools up there. To Sharks and those guys, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I thought, we didn't, last week we probably bombed it on their head a little bit more, and this week, we were able to run our leading patterns a bit better and get Aaron Edwards on the lead and Drew Petrie. They weren't competing 3 and 4, even though they did get a few numbers behind the ball. But, the good thing is, when you get in trouble on that centre wing, if you do kick it long, Hamish McIntosh and Aaron Edwards and Drew Petrie will bring the ball to the front, so it gives you good confidence to be able to push from that centre wing to get to the fall of the ball and know it's going to hit the deck.
Geelong next week. I mean, it's obviously they're still the benchmark team. I mean, how do you assess them? I think you've been on the record regularly saying you've got to sort of step up to that level.
Yeah, I mean, I've been on record saying that because we want to be a good team, and to be a good team, we've got to perform well against the best. So, we still rate them extremely highly, as everyone else does, and we'll be very interested in onlookers at the MCG tomorrow. And it's always a nice feeling to come away with a win and then watch your upcoming opposition the next day. But we're under no illusions what a contest is going to be, and we'll hopefully take some of the things we did well out of this game and continue to work on the things that we need to work on. And we can't have lapses where we let the opposition kick easy goals. So we know that Geelong are better than anyone at punishing you on the counter attack. So we've got to work on being really ruthless when we go forward and maintaining possession.
Just from memory, I think you had some really heavy losses last year against the top 2 or 3 teams. Is a good chance to see how much improvement this side has made?
Oh, it always is. But I think the way we started the season, a really competitive game against Essendon last week. In this game, we feel we've improved, but it's always a good chance to play the best. And not only as a collective, but I think a lot of players will relish the opportunity to test where they're at individually against some super players from Geelong. You look at their midfield, all our midfielders are going to be really looking forward to that contest to see just where they're at in their development rather than just us as a team.
Have you heard anything of the Magic Doll report or spoken to Magic Doll?
No, I haven't spoken to him, but my understanding is it's a non-issue. We expect that to be thrown out and you can move on.
Right, it sounds like from what you were saying earlier, you don't see any advantage in playing the Suns and GWS twice each this year. Is that a fair comment?
No, because I think that what I look at is we knew, obviously the GWS players that have played a lot of football, Callum Ward and Tom Scully, a fair bit about. The players don't know so much about the other young guys, but we had a really key role to play in educating them about the way they play, because the coaches and the recruiting staff have watched these young kids for 3 years, and I can tell you that they can all play. And our players were going in under no illusions as to what the GWS boys were capable of. At the moment, the challenge is just for them to do it on a consistent basis for long enough. Hopefully they don't improve too much in 20 games because we play them again. And I know that the contest we're going to get from Dom Tyson, Stephen Caniglio, Jeremy Cameron, they're just going to get better and better. So, we're certainly not assuming that it's going to be the same result, by the same margin in round 23, I think it is.
What did Boomer do to his leg?
I'm not sure, but
Came off, went to the back of the box and...
yeah, it can't be serious enough because the only injury report that I've been told about is Lindsay Thomas, and he just had a bit of a stinger on his shoulder at half time. We didn't hesitate to sub him off, but the doctor said he could have come back on, but we were actually looking for someone to sub at that time, so that was an easy decision for me. But they haven't mentioned anything about Boomer, so it can't be too serious.
And you can see the value to the comp of these kind of games with fairly lopsided scorelines.
Oh yeah. I had an experience at Brisbane where I went up to a non-traditional football state with a key responsibility to grow the game in a non-traditional area, and the guys at Western Sydney have done a fantastic job so far at promoting the game, and I think they look like an AFL team. So I think every club supports the expansion, and it's going to be fantastic for football across the country to have them playing well, and they will in the not too distant future, I'm sure about that.